Right, and we are live. Yes, we are live with the randomness of Vel, everybody. We got randomness of Vel out
What's up,
here
good people?
on Letitia Campbell's channel, out in these YouTube streets. We the Tim Norman Sweetie Pie's case guru, the one who broke the case first. Yes,
Well,
Vel.
well,
Welcome, 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 welcome.
thank you. And what's up to the Shady Bells? I'm a
Yes.
member of the Shady Bells as well as
Yes,
the
yes,
good
yes. All
people.
my shady bells is in the building, and we got Val. What do you call your subscribers?
Good people. There are good people, and,
What's
and
up, good
and then
people?
we have our
Yes, what's up, good
and
people?
then we have our Bells important people who are our VIPs who are in our text community.
Right,
So we
all
have
of
two
that,
different
all of
groups.
that.
We got. There's levels to this. There's levels to this over there.
I feel you. I feel you. So tonight we're about to get into some things, y'all. Make sure y'all thumbs up this video, share this video if you can, because sharing is caring. So thumbs
Mhm.
up the live. Welcome, welcome,
Right.
welcome to everybody in the chat. We're
That's
about to
right.
get into some things. Y'all about to learn some things about the randomness of Vel, and we just gonna get into it. Okay?
Right.
So before we get into the things of the things of the things, I want to take you all back down memory lane. And memory lane is how the randomness of Vel and Letitia
Just
Campbell
call me Val
became.
B. We just go with Val B.
Okay, Vel B. Because saying randomness of Vel, I feel
I
like I'm
know.
getting tongue tied. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
randomness of Vel, the randomness of Vel. Like, what do I say? How do I say it?
Yeah, just Val B. We simplifying things as we move into our next stage of this.
Okay, so we're gonna get into how Vel B and Letitia Campbell became connected. It was back in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Neither one of us was monetized yet.
Mm-mm.
And what had happened was MJ Harris had a whole catastrophe going over on his channel.
Mm-hmm.
I had did a reaction to it. That video had got thousands of views. And then I went over and I was just scrolling through the YouTube streets and I came across Vel's channel. Well, at the time your channel was called The Evolution of Vel, wasn't it?
The evolution of Val, yes.
The Evolution of Vel. So that's what happened. I came across The Evolution of Vel's channel, aka Vel B, aka
Val.
Randomness of Vel,
Yeah, yeah.
aka I Am Vel, aka you just got a whole lot of names out here, bro. Like what's
That's because
really
I'm random.
you, clearly. What's up, everybody in the chat?
What's
I can't
up?
read you guys' comments right now because they're going so fast, and I need my glasses to read them, and I'm not ready to put the glasses on right now. So y'all just bear with me. I'm not ignoring y'all. It's just that I want to get through this commentary and this conversation with my boy. So anyway, so I came across your channel, Vel's channel. He was reacting to MJ Harris's whole catastrophe
Mhm.
debacle or whatever
Mhm.
you want to call it. And I remember thinking like, hey, this guy is really cool. I like his channel. I'm going to subscribe. And remember at that time, Vel, you used to have your subscribers, you would ask a question or
A
something
word,
like
a
that.
word of the video. Like I would say a
Right.
phrase for the video, and I'll say, if you made it to this point, say happy people in the chat or in the comments section below. Yeah. So every video I
Right.
would do that.
It was something like that. So
Hmm.
that would let you know that the person actually watched the video in its entirety. And I
Hmm.
was like, that's cool. That's what's up. That's a good way to
Hmm.
know that people watch the videos actually and that people are really supporting you and things
Hmm.
like that. So that's how Vel and I became connected. And then after that, Vel started doing reactions to other YouTubers, right? And when Vel started doing reactions to other YouTubers, thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it. I
Thank you
appreciate it.
so much.
When Vel started doing reactions to other YouTubers, I was like, hey, here I am. Can you do a reaction to my channel? A video on my channel?
You sure
And
did.
so Vel did a reaction to a video on my channel with me and my sister. And we were
Mhm.
talking about the fact that gay men call women fish. And that was a cool video. And that's how we became connected. So that is our history, and we've been rocking ever since. The people on the YouTube streets don't really know, but now y'all know. We talk
We've had
behind the scenes
many
and everything.
offline conversations over the phone for hours about life, about
Exactly.
YouTube.
Exactly.
You
And I
know,
think
it
this
is
is like your
possible.
third or fourth time being on my channel, isn't it?
About at least three. I think at least the third
Yeah.
time. Yeah,
Yeah.
for
So
sure.
I wrote down some notes, y'all. So y'all bear with me. I'm looking at my paper now with the notes that I wrote down. So we went over how we became connected and all of that. Oh, so this is what I wanted to ask you, Val, before we get into, the things of the things of the things. Where are you from? Do you have any siblings? Let's tell us about you, your family, and where you from, where you grew up at. Because the people want to know, who is this guru covering this Tim Norman trial? Like, you did that,
Thank you. I don't know about all that, but thank you.
boy. He's so
I,
humble.
I know I've had conversations with my therapist about being able to accept compliments without, because I have a habit of being like, yeah, but if somebody's like, your hair nice, yeah, but you should see the back of it, or you should see all this great, it's like, I don't know why I don't know I do that. But anyway, thank you so much for that. So yes,
Mhm.
I was born and raised in Chicago, on the west side of Chicago. I actually grew up as an only child. And then around the age of 19, my brother and sister were adopted, and they're like 15 years younger than me.
Mm.
So basically, we've had more of a almost like a guardian relationship. It's almost like parent figure relationship. But I love my siblings, and but yeah, I kind of grew up as an only child. I always wanted siblings, so when they came along, I was very happy. But I wasn't an adult. I have had, like I said before, well, my channel name, The Randomness of Elle, and it really comes from the fact that as an Aries, which is another thing that I really promote, is the fact that I'm an Aries, because I really feel like at my core, like if you look at the Aries traits, I'm textbook Aries, and one of those things is being kind of random. And so even in my career, it shows that I've been a serial entrepreneur. From the age of 19, I've been a general contractor / remodeler. I've been a realtor. I've been a real estate appraiser. I've owned childcare businesses. And those are the ones off the top of my head. I've had a
Jack
lot of
of
careers.
all trades,
Yeah,
huh?
I've been a home inspector. I actually worked for a nonprofit in the management for a few years. And yeah, so pretty random.
Nice.
Usually when people look at people's resume, it's kind of, maybe a little jump here or there, but mine is like all over the place. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for the super chat, Carla. So that means that you are a jack of all trades. And like, who said this in the chat? This is Cynthia Dunbar. Such a professional. The entire trial we had to cover it in prayer. Yes, Val is definitely a professional, and you did your thing. You did your thing with that whole Sweetie Pies, Tim Norman case. I personally am not a fan of the Sweetie Pies show. I have watched a few episodes of it when it was on the air, but I wasn't an avid watcher of it. And I remember when the situation first happened and you called me and you was like, Tish, you
Yeah,
gotta do blah, blah, blah.
I
You
did.
know what I mean? And I don't think I did it, but that was your
Yeah, I don't
lane.
think you did that one. I don't think you touched it really at all, because you were like, I don't know it, I don't get it. But I was like, this is a big story. But that was
Right.
like you with Walt and B.
Cindy.
Yeah, Walt and Cindy. I don't follow them. I wasn't aware of them before that. And you were like, this is the story. You need to da da da. You was trying to get me up to speed. And I wasn't biting. And then it
You
took off.
wasn't biting.
Yeah, it took off for your channel as well.
Yeah,
So but we
you
always,
wasn't biting, but it's okay
but
because
there are
you know
stories
what?
we've done that we have like helped each other, like, hey, hop on this, or did you see this?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. And the thing about it is everybody has a lane. And
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I know is that as when you have a lane, you got to stay in your lane.
Yeah.
That was your thing. And like I said, your channel skyrocketed off of this. You've had other content that you skyrocketed, off of as well, as far as like the who was it? The Darius Crooks
Yeah, that was
story.
another one.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? You broke the internet or broke YouTube with that story.
yeah. And Wendy
So
Williams has always been a good one for me when I cover it. But
mhm.
Sweetie Pies was actually my first video that reached 100K. And
Mm,
that was, I think that was when Tim was arrested. And I had first started out with the MJ Harris. I recorded 4 videos in a row. This was like me finally getting enough nerves to jump into the YouTube world. And because I was so interested in the story and him trying to bamboozle us into thinking that was a real relationship, when I get passionate about something, I'm like, I gotta express myself.
you
I gotta
dive
like,
in.
and then, yeah, and I dive in, and that's what I did with the MJ Harris. I did a reaction to that, and then when it came to Sweetie Pies, when Janae, Miss Robbie, and Tim got into it on social media through Instagram doing lives, I found out about that, and again, it was something I was passionate about because I
Mhm.
am a super fan still to this day of the Welcome to Sweetie Pie series, and so I wanted to cover it because I'm like, oh my God, why are y'all fighting? What's happening here? And I
Yeah.
covered that. And then within a month after that is when Tim got arrested for the M for Hire. And I was shocked like everyone else. And
Okay,
I literally,
before we get into that, because
mhm.
we're getting ahead
Oh, okay,
now.
okay.
Let's wait a minute. Hold up, because we're getting
Okay.
ahead. We're getting ahead.
Okay.
Before we
Go
get into
ahead.
that,
Let's lead it.
the next question I have for you was, how long have you been doing YouTube altogether?
So I've been on YouTube since 2018.
Okay.
And I started I started a YouTube channel for my former employer. And it was my idea totally. And they were kind of like, it sounds like a waste of time, but fine. Like you
Yeah.
think it's gonna work, it's fine. And so I did it in order to be able to communicate with our clients better and be more concise and things like that versus all these papers and newsletters and all that. And it actually did okay for what it was. And it
Right.
also got me more comfortable with the camera, being in front of the camera. And that was my first time ever doing YouTube videos. And then the second was I did a YouTube channel with my friends. So all the while, my ultimate plan was what I'm doing now. It took me
Got
12
you.
years to get comfortable enough to actually do it. And then I used like all these crutches. First, it was my employer because it was like, I don't even know what to talk about on YouTube, but that gave me something to talk about. It was topical. And then
Mhm.
when I did it with my friends, that was also like a level of comfort and also topical. Like I got help to do this and I don't have to worry about like, oh, I don't know what to say next because I got somebody else, bantering.
Yeah.
And
And you
so,
know what? One
go
thing I
ahead.
noticed about you is that you're a perfectionist. Like you're
Oh,
not going to do anything less than perfect. And I admire that about you. I really, really do.
yeah, it gets in the way too, though. It honestly gets in the way quite a bit, has gotten in the way quite a bit. So now I'm working on just pushing through and understanding that perfection comes with time, comes with growth, and
Mhm.
everything. Sometimes you can get stagnant trying to wait on it to get perfect. Like I said, I've been wanting to do YouTube 12 years before I even started doing it. Imagine if I had started it 12 years ago, even not knowing what to do, where I might be today. So
But guess what? There's a time and a place for
yes,
everything.
absolutely,
You
absolutely,
did it when the time was right. And guess what? Look at where you are now. But
absolutely. It's a
thanks
blessing.
for the super chat, Terry. Terry said, I work at home and I love watching trials. I never saw Sweetie Pies, but now I'm Vel's VIP.
Aw.
I just love him. Great content. Terry Key, not Terica, laughing out loud. Okay.
Thank you, Terry Key. Thank you
All
for
right.
the super chat for my friend Tish.
Okay, so the next question that I have for you was, what type of content were you doing initially? We already covered that you were doing reaction videos to like other people's like content creators
Yeah,
channels and stuff like that. So we already covered that question. And we
but
already look,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead. I'm gonna see what your next question is because I was gonna talk about the origins of what I planned to do versus what I ended up doing.
So the next question was, and you pretty much answered that already. And it was, were you always a Sweetie Pies fan and how long? You've already answered that.
Hmm.
Um, And you answered the next question too. Like all the questions that I have, you
I
already
get
answered.
to, I get to talking.
The next question was, were you shocked when the news came out about Tim Norman? And like, what were you feeling or thinking like when the news came out that Tim had been involved in this murder for hire against his own nephew?
It was total shock in the very beginning. But what got me, and it's in my first video that I reacted to, and actually in my little trailer that I do for you for my Welcome to Sweetie Pie's investigative series, in that trailer, you see me pointing at the picture like, why are you smiling in the mugshot? And that
Yes.
to me blew, I was like, something ain't right here. Like, you know, I
Right.
was still trying to give benefit of the doubt, like maybe there's some mistakes here, etc. But that smiling in the mugshot, I was like, either you are guilty and you think you're going to get away with it, or you're guilty and you just like, oh, I got caught. Oh, well, it happened. I still did it. You know, it was sinister. That smile just, I still couldn't get that out of my head. And then once the indictment came out and you read through what they had on him, it was just,
Yeah.
I don't
And when I
know. It was,
tell you, you did a magnificent job at doing the research on the case and, you know, everything that came with the whole situation. Like, you gave the people what they wanted to know. You covered it like a real live reporter on mainstream TV. Like, you did the darn thing. And I'm super proud of you for that.
Thank you. I like to say I cover it like a nosy neighbor because basically I give people what I want to know. Like when it comes to stuff, you watch the new, you like watch CNBC or you watch some of those Dateline specials and they're telling you about these stories and they're like really interesting, but you like, but I want to know the relationship between them and the friend. How did that happen? You know, that's how my brain works. So when I'm recapping, I'm like, what do I want to know? And I learned through this trial, like, there are tens of thousands of people who are just like me. Like, I want to know, what did they have on? Why did they dress like that? Who did they speak to? You know, all of those things. So
And
that
then,
I
and
think
then I think the fact that you are a Sweetie Pies fan and you were an
super
avid
fan,
watcher
super
of the
fan.
show, that helped too.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I have a lot of history backlogged in my head. Like I literally remember the first episode. I remember the previews from before the show even started. I saw every single episode.
Mm, I think I saw like 2 episodes.
Oh no, I was hooked. I was hooked before it even started. The previews on the OWN network, but about a month or so before it actually premiered, had me hooked. I was like, oh my God, it's a black family, it's a mom and
Yeah.
son business team. It looked interesting. I was down. I couldn't wait to see what the show was about. And then I started watching and it was actually good to me. Like I was, especially the first like 2 or 3 seasons were really good. As it went further down the line, you could tell it began to get more scripted and more
Yeah.
sitcom like. But I was
Yeah.
invested in the people by then, so I still stuck with it.
Guys, make sure y'all thumbs up this video so that it
Yes,
can be shared
definitely.
out in my YouTube algorithm. Y'all know how this
Absolutely.
YouTube thing work. I'm begging for likes. That's right. I am
And
begging for
subs.
likes.
And subs.
And subscribe and share me out and all that good stuff. The next question I had for you was, were there other news reporters at the courthouse? I mean, like mainstream news reporters. Were there any of those there?
There was the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, Aaron. I'm forgetting her last name. Yeah, I'm forgetting her last name, but Aaron, reporter Aaron, has been following this from the beginning. So
Okay.
she I never talked to her about like what made her be so interested in this story. I don't know if she was a fan as well, but literally since the first since he was arrested, she's been very consistent. If you go there and you Google them, it actually, before we actually got to the level of the trial, like over the past 2 years, I would go there for a lot of my information because she was on it. But they were there. And then there was a CBS station or news reporter who was there too, like local St. Louis
Okay.
CBS. She was there practically almost every day, I think. And then other than that, it was kind of like some reporters who would come in and out, but there were no more than at any given time no more than 5 or so of us. And
What
then
about YouTubers? Other YouTubers, were they there?
yes, so there were a total of 3 of us. There was
Okay.
JSO Extra, who she renamed her channel recently to Today's Celebrity News. She was there. She was there every day except for one day. And then Chronicle Speaks came on the second week,
Okay.
and she came for like the last 3 days, if I'm not mistaken. And so, you know, we were working together, and it was really cool to meet them face to face because I've been a fan of both of them and following them way before this. Well, Jay So Extra I met through this, or at least saw her channel through this because she was covering it in the very beginning too. And then Chronicle,
Mm-hmm.
I was watching her prior to just her content in
Yeah,
general.
Chronicle Speaks.
Mm.
Chronicle Speaks is her name, you said?
Yeah, Chronicle Speaks.
She's a very popular YouTuber. I watch her from
Mhm.
time to time. I love her content. JSO XO,
Yes,
I only heard about her through you. I have to go and check her out. Y'all
very
make sure
good.
y'all, if y'all not subscribed to Chronicle Speaks and JSO XO, what's her name, channel name
Her
now?
her channel name is Today's Celebrity News.
So go check her out, guys. Make sure you go
Yeah.
check out both of those ladies out here in
And what I love
the street.
about it is that being in the courtroom with them and us all 3 seeing the same exact thing, the way
Mm-hmm.
that we each covered it is very unique. It's a unique
Okay.
perspective. So it's not like you can say, okay, well, Vail already covered it, so I don't need to go over to any other channel to see what happened. No, my way of covering it and my perspective is actually a little different than Jay So Extra, who Today's Celebrity News, who she takes more of a journalistic approach and a non-biased
Mm,
approach to reporting, and very
okay.
accurate and all of that. Whereas me, I'm the nosy neighbor. I'm
Okay.
covering it like the
You getting
nosy
down to the
neighbor.
nitty-gritty.
Yeah, and then for me, I feel like Chronicle Speaks gives you a little bit of both of us. She gives a little bit of nosy neighbor and
Mm-hmm.
the journalistic integrity, using the proper terminology. She's a researcher too. She's a real researcher.
Cause
She's gonna call.
how she say on her channel, she be like, I'm not something something, but I'm here for
I'm
the
not
I'm
one to
gonna get to the
gossip, but I will bring you the tea, I think is what she said.
yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I like the channel. Her
so
channel is really
that's
cool.
yeah, that's the cool part about you know, all of our perspectives. And there's other YouTubers out there, but those are the ones that, you know, we were there together, and we built a bond for sure. Going through such a roller coaster ride of emotions and witnessing those families and things, it was a lot. It was a lot,
Yeah.
but it was worth it at
So
the same.
Val, let me ask you this question. What made you go to the trial, and when did you decide that you wanted to go to the trial in person to cover it?
So I actually had pretty much decided months ago when I knew that that was an option, like when it really occurred to me, like, okay, wait a minute, like it is an option, like I can go. It's only in St. Louis. But as it got closer, because I have other things going on in my life, like that are, you know, major events, and it was like right in the same time frame, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to pull it off. And so I was basically gonna just back out and just cover it from afar. And I had a good friend of mine who I had a discussion with, and they were like, "What are you talking about? You need to be there. Like, you've been covering this for 2 years, et cetera, et cetera."
Yeah.
And I literally booked my Airbnb and all of that Saturday night, and you know, the trial started on Tuesday. Booked it
So you
Saturday night,
decided literally like a week before, a few
not
days
even a
before.
week, no, like 2 days before.
Wow,
Booked
that's
my
dedication.
Yeah, booked all of my stuff, and then had to leave home because I wasn't even in town. I was out of town. I had to leave my trip early to come home to repack for that and get equipment. And then I headed to St. Louis.
Okay. So did you have to take off from work to do this?
No, well, this is work. So for those who may not know, I'm a full-time YouTuber. I've been a full-time YouTuber for since January of 2021. And I took a
Yay.
slight little break and went back to corporate America for a good 5 months
Yes,
and
that's
tried
why
to
I was
juggle.
asking because I remember when you went back to work, we had spoke about that behind the scenes. So I'm like,
Yes.
do you have to take off from work or,
Yeah, I
so
got
we
a
haven't talked in a while, so I didn't know that you, started doing YouTube full time. And
yes.
today's celebrity news is in the chat.
Hey, Jay.
You're welcome. You're welcome, JSO XO. Of course, you're gonna get much love over here. But
Thank you
so
very
you
much.
didn't have to take off from work, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
This is work. This was work. It was truly work. Trust me, I didn't get no sleep, basically. I still am
mhm.
kind of running on fumes a little bit. Like, I think I'm a crash. Might need to take a week off coming up. But
You
yeah,
definitely need
this
to
is
take
work.
some time off. You've been going ham this past couple of days, weeks, or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
You've been
And you know
going
how
really, really
it
hard.
is. Yeah, and you know how it is in these YouTube streets when it comes to content and things. Like when the algorithm is friendly with you, you need to
You got to jump on it.
ride the wave. Yeah. And so
You
right
got
now
to jump on it.
I'm in the moment of why the algorithm is friendly with me. I'm gonna go ahead and
Hmm.
hang out with her as much as I can.
Yep. So the next question that I had for you was, how did you feel seeing the whole family in person for such an enormous, tragic situation?
I think the difference because like now I get a lot of questions. Well, I'm sorry, I see a lot of comments in my videos and all over social media, and I see people dragging certain family members or the family, one whole side of the family, etc. And for me, being there in person, I have compassion for people in general, but being there in person and seeing the hurt and how the families were interacting and them seeing and hearing certain testimony and all of that, what it did was it gave me more empathy for like all of them involved. Because it's like it's kind of hard to hate on them. It's easy to be a keyboard bully and to hate on people from afar, but when you are, you know how people they bully us, even as content creators, behind the screen. But if they were face to face, they wouldn't dare say the things they say behind the keyboard.
Yes,
It's kind of
yes,
one of those things where once you see that face to face and you feel a person's energy and you even maybe have some conversations here or there or just see their interaction, it's really harder if you're a compassionate person to hate on them or to inflict any more harm on them. And I think me being in that space, feeling that energy, feeling the energy of not only the families but Andre's presence at certain times
hmm,
just made me more empathetic for, and I'm an empath as well, but
yeah,
it gave me a heart for them even beyond the TV screen, so to speak. Because in a way, I was going there to cover it like a nosy neighbor, but I literally had moments where I got emotional through that trial, and especially when the verdict was read, that was just a whole different kind of experience. Like I even said in my video, it literally felt like we were at a funeral. Um,
wow.
yeah.
Just what that brings me to my next question, and that is, what was the most memorable part about being at the trial?
I didn't do it. my
No, wait,
my people wanted that. I'm sorry, my people wanted that.
tell us about it. Tell me
They
about it. I
already
want to
know
hear
what that
about it. Tell me about. I didn't do it.
so during the trial, there
Hmm.
was testimony from Travell Anthony Hill, who was Tim's nephew and also the Pow Pow person who unfortunately, you know, made Andre unalive. And during Travell's testimony, Tim, out of the blue, we're all just paying attention to Travell. He's being questioned by the prosecution, and Travell is talking about how Tim had his back and took care of him and blah blah blah. He looked up to him, and out of the blue, we hear, "I didn't do it," and we're like, and then like crying and blubbling, and yeah, it caught us all, and we're like, "What's happening here?" This was a moment. Because to that point, it had just been regular court, like a trial, but just regular
Right.
people testifying. These questions and objections and blah blah blah, and it was pretty uneventful for the most part. That was like, okay, this is real life here. Like,
And then all of a
this is
sudden,
a TV show.
do it again. Wait, then all of a sudden,
I didn't do it. I'm actually containing it. I've learned how to do it without yelling so loud because I do have family downstairs.
oh my God, that sounds so funny. Let
I
me
know
tell you
y'all
something.
wanted it. Bling,
Guess
what is it? Bling my baby. I know y'all wanted it.
guess what my son's name is?
What's that? Well, I know.
Travell.
Oh, I didn't know. Well, I guess I forgot. I never made the connection. Oh my
My
god.
son's name is Travell.
Oh my god. I knew we
I
had
remember
similar names,
watching
but I forgot that it was wow.
I remember watching one of your lives during this trial, and you were saying that his name is actually pronounced Trivell or something like that.
Because that's what it sounded like he said during his testimony. But
And
everyone is
so,
telling me it's Travail.
but the whole time that you've been covering this case, and I kept hearing you saying Travell, Travell, Travell. I'm like, that's my son name. That's my son name. Thanks for the super chat, Donna. Oh my God, that is too funny. So the next question I had for you is
I don't know what that means. Chow chow town time. I
what
will
she
say what
wrote.
I say
I
behind
will
keyboard.
say I will say what I say behind the keyboard. Well,
are you
I guess that means
are
that
you
they
like
say
I'ma
whatever
still
they want to
stay
say behind the keyboard.
like I'ma still stay big and bad as long as I'm behind this keyboard.
It pretty much that's what that means. Like I'm an internet
and
bully. I'm a
and you and you know what?
internet
I'm
thug.
okay. I'm actually okay with that. As long as you don't get too disrespectful, that's totally fine to me. If you get too disrespectful, I got a strong block hand. That's all I got to say.
I
I
know
blocked
that's
up
right. You just
people,
have a
I
block
blocked up
party.
people yesterday, last night, watching my
Just
live
have
last
a block
night. Oh yeah,
party.
you can just go. Right.
So the next question I had for you was tell us about the moment that the judge said guilty. What were you thinking in that moment? Like, how did you feel? What was going on in your mind, your body, your soul, like everything? What did you when the judge?
Well, so he was reading. So the jury handed their verdict to him on a piece of paper to the judge,
Mhm,
and then the courtroom clerk walked it over to the judge. He then read it in silence, and then he replied, "Okay, this document is completed properly, etc." And he was like,
mhm,
"Is this your verdict?" Talking to the head juror. I'm forgetting my brain. I'm forgetting the foreman,
mhm.
the foreman. He basically said, "Is this correct?" And he said, "Yes." So then, thank you for subscribing to Tish's page.
Yes,
Um,
thank you, Alicia.
so so he reads it. He reads it in silence, and then he starts to go over the counts. And he told us that he gave us a warning saying that we couldn't have any reactions, and if we had any outbursts whatsoever, we could be held in contempt. So he was like, if you feel like you can't, and he was like, I get it, I understand, it's been a long time coming, he's emotional, this is, all of that. He recognized that piece of it, but he was like, but you can't act up in here, this ain't no reality show. Without saying that was my words.
Mm.
And so he was like, if you know that you cannot contain yourself, please excuse yourself now.
Wow.
um, and so so what I'll say is, in those moments, once I walked in the courtroom and sat down, and I was sitting with Jay and Chronicle
Yeah.
Speaks, we thought we were going in the courtroom for another note from the jury requesting something from the judge, because we have been
Mm.
going back and forth throughout the day, well, over days. What was it, 3 days, I think it was. And they had like 8, that was going to be like the 8th or 9th, the 9th note, I think it was going to be. And so I'm going over there with my pen and paper, thinking I'm about to take notes for that. And then we're going to go back over and keep ourselves busy until they call something else. Well, we get in there and the courtroom was more crowded than it had been before. And there were marshals like around the walls, basically. And then we saw the Griggs family come in, who was Andre's
Yeah.
family. And when I saw them come in, I then said, is this it? Because they hadn't come to any of the other notes that were given from the jury. They were sequestered other places in the building. And they were like, yeah. And so it literally just felt like all of a sudden it turned into a funeral. And like a funeral where you see the family come in, and that's when your heart drop a little bit more, because you're feeling for them and the emotions of it, etc. It's very quiet. They sit down, and while he's getting ready to read it, my body warmed up, because it's like you're praying that it's the right verdict, because you don't know. These jurors that they selected did not know Tim. did not know about Sweetie Pies, did not know about Miss Robbie,
Wow.
and they were purposely picked because anyone who were a part of the jury selection, like the larger group of 59 of them, any of those people who knew anything about any one of them or the show and the restaurant and all of that, they were gone. They
They were
did not get
gone. And
selected.
that was fair
Yeah. So
because
what
they
that
would have been
meant,
biased.
exactly. So what that meant to us is that they don't know what we know, and some of the shenanigans that the defense attorney was playing on the part of Tim could have fooled them. We just didn't know. And so I was just nervous that my main thought was like, I don't want the Griggs family to be hurt again. Because if
Yeah.
this comes back and they find him not guilty, then they'll be hurt again. But when they read the first, well, when the judge Ross read the first verdict and it was guilty,
Mm-hmm.
it was like a sigh of relief because it was like, no matter what happens with the rest of them, we know we got them on something. And then he
Yeah.
read the next one and it was guilty. And then he read the next one,
Mm.
and it was guilty. And it was rejoicing, but it was rejoicing inward. It was crying. I was like tearing up and like, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And the family started tearing up. And so the thing was, you were starting to rejoice and you saw the relief from the Griggs family, but then you turn your head and you're feeling the grief on the other side.
Yes. So
Loss.
many
So it
people
was,
involved.
yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot to take in. Yeah, it was a lot to take in.
It's so much, so much, so much. Thank you for the super chat,
You,
MZJ. But situations like this is always hard because nobody wins.
right. That part.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody lose.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's losing something. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the family, of course, is vindicated because the family of Andre, they're vindicated because, the people that's responsible for his death and his untimely demise is, they're going to pay the cost for it. So
Mm-hmm.
they're vindicated, but they still lost a loved one.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got the other side who has family members like, Tim's mom and whatnot. They're losing too.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a lot. It's a lot. One
Mm-hmm.
of the this brings me to my next question, Val. What are your thoughts on Miss Robbie supporting Tim during this case? If you don't have to answer that, if you don't want to.
I plead the fifth.
Okay.
Well, you know
Okay.
what? This is how,
That's
and
fine.
I've processed this so many times. Do I think that he should not have been found guilty? Not at all. Like I'm very satisfied
There was
with that
too much
verdict.
evidence
Well,
against him.
well deserved. But I know all of the pieces. I know the press conference. I was there. I heard it in person. What the Griggs family said occurred between them and Miss Robbie and Andre, and I get all of that. What I am answering is what I feel about that dynamics between Tim and his mom. And because I'm so close to my mom, I get it in a way because I grew up as an only child. And that in that way, my mom and I have a very unique relationship.
Yeah.
And I truly, honestly believe that if I were in that situation, if I was a sociopath, because that's what he is, allegedly, if I was one, I believe my mom would have my back still. Not that she would be like, okay, that was good that you did that. Good job, son. Nothing you do is wrong. But that she wouldn't just abandon me. It's
Abandon
like,
you.
and I hear a lot of people like, I would have left my child and da da da. And some people would have, but I think a lot of people talk a good game until they're in those shoes.
Yeah.
And so I'm just real hesitant to speak on people. I know what we see, I know what we've heard, all of that. But me personally, God forbid I end up in any situation or any of us end up in a situation like that. I prefer to keep my tongue, my mouth off of people's lives in that way. I just do. That's just how I roll.
Yeah.
Like it or
Okay.
not.
That's fair.
And comments about I'm unfollowing you because, oh well, you're not a part of my tribe. It's okay. Like I don't
Right.
know
I
you
think
anyway.
people take this
Like it's
internet
okay.
thing way too serious.
Yeah, way too sick because I got a difference of opinion because I am a caring person. Okay, you don't like caring people. It's okay. I'm gonna still keep
Right.
caring.
I mean, at the end of the day, an opinion is just what it
It's
is.
just that, right? It's
It's
just
just an opinion. And one thing that I don't do today that I used to do, I would say about 2, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I used to argue somebody down to,
oh yeah.
get them to see my point of view or my opinion. But
Mm-hmm.
I had to learn, and this was a part of my growth, me learning that my opinion is not facts.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to argue with somebody over an opinion because we just have to, at that point, agree to disagree. And it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're not saying anything that's factual, and I'm not saying anything that's factual. So why are we arguing?
Mm-hmm.
So, but
And my
anyway,
opinion don't change nothing about these circumstances. Me
it's
hating
not.
on
It's
her
not.
or Tim or anybody involved ain't gonna bring Andre back. It just ain't,
No, it's not.
unfortunately.
So, do you plan to do more cases like this? And like, where do you see your channel going from this point? Once this whole Tim Norman trial and I'm sure you're going to cover the sentencing because I think you put a post up saying when his sentencing date is and everything. Once you finish
Mm-hmm.
covering that and all of this dies down, what's next for the randomness of Vel's channel? Like, what type of cases will you cover next? Are you going to cover any more cases? Like, what's next?
So, although this has been all consuming the past 2 weeks, but I am still doing other content. I actually did the Ari Spears and Tiffany Haddish story
Mm.
right prior to this really taking off and me heading to St. Louis. So I'm going to be moving back into that. So I have always covered hot topics that interest me. So I will continue to do that. Hey, what's up, Mr. 6'8"? I ain't seen you in
Hi,
forever.
Mister.
um,
That's one
so
of our old boys back
right,
there.
another
We all started
YouTuber I met in
together.
the very beginning. Um, what was I saying? Oh, so for me, it's definitely still going to be trending topics. I also have a series called the Exposed series or the Infamous series. And so
Mhm.
that's covering stories of infamous figures, public figures, everything from internet influencers who are scammers, people, some famous people that we may know. Right now, one of the
The
main
fake
people is
look,
Darius.
the YouTube cooks.
Yes, all of that. Yes, the Darius Crooks, and there's some other ones. There's actually, I've gotten so many. I literally have about, I think it's about 38 stories to cover with that series alone. And then I'm also going to have the making of, which is more of a biography style video series where I talk about the biographies of, like, I'm very passionate about, like, the Luther Vandross story. And it's a bunch of them. I got another like 30 or 40 video concepts already in the works with that. And then also, I'm now going to be moving more back into my evolution of Veil. So I was going to mention this a little earlier.
Okay.
My
Go ahead.
original channel name, the Evolution of Veil, came
Mhm.
from my initial concept for my channel, which was that I would do lifestyle, purpose driven business, entrepreneurship, just kind of like growing together and sharing my life experiences with growing businesses and just taking people on the journey. Even this whole social media thing, this has been new to me, and I've learned some lessons, and there may be other people interested in this or interested in achieving their goals in other areas, and we can learn together and they can learn vicariously through me. And so my initial idea for my evolution of Veil
Mhm.
was the evolution of myself and having the audience go on this journey of us purpose building together. And as you see from us talking, I had the MJ Harris story that I covered, and then and then it went from the MJ Harris
Sorry, y'all.
to the Sweetie Pies, and then it started to take my channel in a direction. And what happened was my content overtook my initial concept, and that's why I changed my channel name, because I was like,
Okay.
this is not the evolution of Veil. This is randomness of Veil. This is me being random, because I enjoy that part too. I'm a real person. So yes, I'm a nosy neighbor. Yes, I like ish and giggles, but I'm also very serious. I'm very purpose driven. I'm, a spiritual person, etc. And so that's why I took that name off this channel and set it to the side. And now I'm getting to the place where I'm going to open it back up, but it's going to be more Patreon related, and then we'll grow from there. It'll end up, it's still on YouTube, but that's coming.
Okay.
I'm figuring out some things, and then this channel will be changing from the randomness of Vel to I am Vel B. And that's so
Okay.
that my branding is consistent across all platforms, because my
That's
Twitter
your
name is
Instagram.
that, Facebook, Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
every platform you name, my email, everything you name, it's I am VLP. I even got a website that's not up yet. So I want to have consistency with that. So it may be I am VLB reacts because I react to what I want to react to. So
Awesome.
that's coming
Awesome.
soon.
Alice wants to know if she can post your Cash App in the chat. Go right ahead.
I
I
prefer.
don't mind that at all. Go ahead and put.
No. I prefer, Alice. If anyone wants to give, please give to Tish. I'm not sure where your Cash App is, Tish, but please only give to Tish. So Tish, if you can put your Cash App, because
My
I'm on
Cash
her,
App. Let me put it in the I don't know if I can put it in the
I'm
comment
on her
section.
channel, and
I'm
we
gonna
need
post
to,
my Cash App in the comment section, guys.
yeah, we need to help our other people grow as well. Y'all have been so good to me, and I
That's my
appreciate
Cash
it.
App.
There we go. Hair $hair with flair is Tish's Cash App. So whatever you would
I'm
have
sorry
gave to
about
me,
that. My
give to
phone
her.
just fell on the floor on just now, guys. I'm sorry about that. But this was a really, really good conversation.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you so much, Val, for coming over here on my channel.
No problem.
Also, I wanted to let everybody in the chat know that decides to subscribe. My channel is a variety of content. I do cooking, I do vlogs, I do interviews like this. I react to other YouTubers. I don't do too much of reacting to like big celebrities or anything like that. Most of my reactions is going to be on other YouTubers. And most of the time when I react to other YouTubers, it's about something they may have said in their content that piques my interest. So that's pretty much what this channel is about over here. So if you want to see a plethora of content, this is the place to be.
Absolutely.
But
And she really be cooking some stuff too. I got a couple recipes from her.
Val, let me tell you, I haven't been doing a lot of cooking videos like I used to be doing because your girl put on some weight.
Me too.
And when I went to the doctor back in June and they told me I was 160 pounds, I was like, oh, hell to the no, no, no. Hell no. I'm too short for that.
Yeah, I was actually doing really good with my weight loss, and I was trying to lose weight for this coming weekend. And I was doing very well. And then the past 2.5 weeks with this trial, it just went out the window. And I'm like, I ain't got on the scale, but I could tell, like, I'm like, I've reversed all of my hard work. There's a comment in here that I was gonna read, and it's kind of gone away now.
What did it say? Thanks for subscribing, LA too.
Somebody was asking for me to do the Terica voice. So there's these things that have come out of the trial that have kind of gone viral in our little Vale's Important People world, where we have the I didn't do it, and then we have the my name is Terica, and Tim texted me, and he had said, "Can I come to the Chase Park Plaza Hotel?" So I know. It's an inside thing. Somebody just asked me to do it. I couldn't end this without.
Is that how she sounded?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. That's exactly.
No.
Yeah. And she's on social media, like, yeah. So I've had some people say, I watched her social media, and you were spot on.
Do a couple more impersonations before we get out of here.
I'm not that good. I can only do Terica, and I didn't do it. Those are the only two that I know how to do. At least for now. Y'all so silly. Y'all are so silly. Y'all coming over to other people's platform with this silliness.
Oh Oh my God. I love it. I love it. I'm having a good time with your people. They is keeping me very much
I
entertained.
love
I
y'all. I
think
love
I
y'all
think
so
they're
much.
entertaining us more than we're entertaining
They
them.
are.
How about that?
When I watch my lives back, that's when I can really see what's happening in the chat. And I'm like, they got their own world happening. Sometimes they paying attention to me, sometimes they not. It's hilarious.
Mm, mm, mm. But guys, we're gonna get out of here.
Yes.
Vel, you're the best.
Thank you, Tish. You're the best. Thank you for even asking me to do this. This is cool because it gives a way for, the Vel's important people to get to know me better without me saying, I'm going to interview myself.
Right,
Tell you about
exactly,
myself.
exactly. And that's
I
one of the
appreciate
reasons
that.
why I wanted to do this tonight, is because, a lot of times when someone like yourself is doing the type of content that you're doing and you're gaining the support that you've gained thus far, people become invested into the content creator and they want to know more about them.
Very true. Very true.
And you're not doing that type of content where you're talking about yourself.
Mm-mm.
So, why not come on someone else's platform like mine, where I can ask you some questions about yourself? We did that in the beginning. So, those of you that didn't catch it from the beginning, you're going to have to wait till this live ends so that you can catch some of the things that Vel did disclose about his personal life. A very little bit, not a whole
Because
lot,
we
a
had a
very little
discussion before this. It's like, hey, I'll talk about that, but I ain't gonna talk about that. That's for Patreon.
Right. So he did, disclose some things about himself personally that some of you probably would want to
Don't know.
know.
Yeah, they might want to know,
And
but they don't know. They don't know. Unless they know me personally, they don't know. Everybody
but
ain't finna ran
anyway,
on these in these internet streets.
oh, they be going ham.
Woo.
They go ham. But thank you, Precious, for subscribing.
Yes,
I
thank you so
appreciate
much,
each and
Precious.
every one of you. But Vel, again, thank you for coming on the channel. I want to do my outro, and my outro is, those of you that was here with me from the beginning to the end, I appreciate you. Those of you that came in from the middle to the end, I appreciate you. And even those of you that came in at the tail end until now, I appreciate you. You want to know why? Because no matter where you came in at, you took the time out of your busy schedule to spend it with me, and I am Vel B. So with that being said, until next time, peace. Bye,
Peace.
guys. See y'all later.